Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Hope Watts, board certified family physician, health coach, speaker, author, and lifestyle expert. I help women who have common chronic diseases find the right foods and exercise and help them with their mindset so that they can be successful. I am happy to be here tonight. And we've been talking about a lot of things that relate to weight loss and certain diets that people are using that are a little different than the run-of-the-mill diets. We've talked about Mediterranean diets and we talked about gluten-free. And we're going to switch it a little bit today and talk about the metabolic rate. Now, everybody says from time to time, my metabolism's off, and I think it's hormonal, and I'm going to get my hormones checked. That's why I can't lose weight. But or it's my thyroid, and I know there's something wrong with my thyroid, and sometimes that's not even very clear either, because a lot of times, if they get your thyroid managed, sometimes people can lose weight, but that's another story. So today we're just going to talk about simple metabolic rate and what it is. Your metabolic rate is the process by which your body converts the foods and the drinks that you eat into energy. This can take place when you're resting and when you're exercising. So your body is always burning calories so that your body has enough energy. But what we're talking about is doing extra things so that we can burn off more calories so that we can lose weight. And isn't that the thing that you want to do when you're losing weight anyway? Burn off the calories. So we're going to do a small little summary of a lot of the things, or some of the things you may not have thought of, that can help you increase your metabolic rate, or some things that are just you never even thought of, some simple things. And some of them you're going to say, oh, I didn't really think that was good anyway. I never really liked doing that. But in the long run, they'll probably help you when you're losing weight or you're trying to lose weight. So let's just talk about some basic things, or some basic things that you can do to improve your metabolic rate. Number one, there are some foods that can help you boost your metabolic rate. And I was kind of surprised at that, because I thought all the foods would do that, but they picked out certain ones that you should, really be centered on, because if you skip them or don't use them, you may be stalling your weight loss program. Protein. Eating foods high in protein, such as meat, chicken, fish, turkey, pork, whatever your heart's desire, or beef, are high in protein. And of course, we want the ones that don't have a lot of fat attached to them. So protein can actually boost your metabolic rate by 15 to 30%. And we're saying at least 3 to 4 ounces of protein for women, which is the chicken, fish, beef, pork. Now, carbs, on the other hand, boost your metabolism 5 to 10%. So if you're eating too many carbs, guess what? You're probably not going to burn a whole lot of those off. So that's why you need to know the difference between the two types of foods. And fat only boosts your metabolic rate about 3%. And I was kind of surprised by that, because I thought it produced more energy, but I guess in other ways it can produce more energy. Also, coffee and tea. Now remember, coffee is a staple in this country and lots of other countries too. But I didn't know that it had the potential for boosting your metabolic rate. Now, I am not saying that you need to drink extra coffee throughout the day. because drinking too much coffee can keep you awake at night, and we'll see why a little bit later. But in 1 cup of coffee, you have 100 milligrams of caffeine. And this appears to boost your metabolic rate about 11% 2 hours afterwards. So if you're combining all these things, you're going to have some weight loss in the near future. Green teas. I love green tea. I use it quite a bit because sometimes at that 3 o'clock dip, I'll drink some green tea and I'll be boosted up. I'll feel energetic and I can get my things done. But there's a lot of antioxidants in green tea. And they appear to rev up, and some catechins, I think they are, and they appear to rev up your metabolic rate about 3 to 4%. Not as much as coffee, but we'll take what we can get. Sometimes it can be as high as 8% for the next 24 hours. So I'm thinking maybe 3 to 4 is probably a little bit more realistic than the 8%, because you don't want to drink too much of that either, because it can tend, I know if I do, it tends to keep me up. So ginger. Now ginger is used a lot for cooking with, especially in Asian cooking and some other things. There are times that I'll, slice up some ginger and make a nice little ginger tea. My mother always did that if we had an upset stomach. But one study found that adding 2 grams of ground ginger pepper, which is about a half a teaspoon, to some warm water, and we suggest that you let it sit there for a while and dissolve it, because sometimes it takes a while to get powder or dissolve. And they suggest that you drink it after breakfast. Now, okay, people, now if you're not eating breakfast, guess what? It may not be working for you. But it allowed people to burn 43% more calories than they would had they not used the ginger. So there are some good things about ginger. Also, if you want to slice up the ginger yourself and boil it and let it stand and put a little bit of sugar in it, it also will probably do the same thing, and you'll get a fuller, richer ginger taste. So ginger is something to think about when we're thinking about increasing the amount that our body burns up calories, or how fast it is. And especially if you're combining things, those are good things to know about. Now, here's one that may be a little controversial: drinking water. I often hear people say, oh, I can't drink water. I don't like water. And so I tell them there are lots of different kinds of water now. There's smart water, there's hint water, there's coconut water. There's all kinds of water now. So you're not limited to, what you have in the tap. But it says, and what I read, that if you drink 2 cups of cold water, it will temporarily boost your metabolic rate, because most of that boost comes from the body trying to heat it up. So that's a freebie. So I'll take any freebie I can get, but you should drink water. I have to say that, because it is good for you. And look, if you drink cold water, it'll help boost your rate of burning up calories. So some other things that we need to look at are sleep. Now, you wouldn't think that sleep would increase your metabolic rate, but not getting enough sleep, high quality sleep, restful sleep, will slow your metabolism down. And many people come to me and say, well, how come I'm doing everything you're saying, but I'm just not losing the weight? And then I ask them about sleep, and they're saying, no, I only get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. And I explain to them that getting sleep is important to losing weight. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to have some challenges with losing the weight. Skipping meals. And a lot of times in our fast-paced society, we skip a lot of meals because we have to run here, we run there, and we have to take care of this thing, take care of that thing, and we have to. And sometimes we prioritize things and try to get everything done. If you're in a certain area of the city, I try to get everything done that I know is there, so I'm not traveling back and forth. And you may do the same thing too. And mealtime may just be, you may not even remember. So skipping meals. I'm sorry, that's an alarm. I am sorry, that's an Amber Alert that just went off. Um, I'm sorry about that. But skipping meals will decrease the rate of you burning up your calories. It will almost automatically stall your weight loss. And you could have been percolating along, and then all of a sudden a week just kind of gets out of hand. Your boss wants you to do all these other things, and you are not able to accomplish all of them without skipping meals, and it can derail your weight loss. So remember, having that habit of eating at least 3 meals a day, or at least eating every 3 to 4 hours, meals that contain protein in it and vegetables, if possible, will help keep your metabolic rate up. And you won't be like thinking, well, how did this all happen? I've been working really hard on my diet and everything. Why am I not losing the weight that I think I should be losing? But it could be a simple thing as skipping a meal. And sometimes we're so used to doing that, we forget that that's probably not something that's going to help our goals, our weight loss goals. Exercise. And some people ask me, do I have to exercise? I had one lady tell me, she says, well, look, I read somewhere where, if you're losing weight, it's 80% diet and 20% exercise. I said, well, I have not heard that to be the case. You still have to exercise. And of course, cardiac exercise includes running, walking, swimming, hiking. And there are other things too, like line dancing. You can do kickboxing, Zumba, whatever you like to do. They all work to help you lose the weight. And the exercise itself helps you burn off the calories. And the recommendations are to do at least 30 minutes of cardiac exercise most days of the week. So that would be probably 4 or 5, because you want to, at least when you're starting out, you're trying to, start out slowly. And then you want to move up into the 150 minutes per week. And that's a goal that has been set by CDC. And that's a goal that they feel most people can achieve on a weekly basis. And so those kinds of things, those exercises, and you need 30 minutes to really get your heart rate up. And if you're doing it, at the right intensity, of course, you're going to start out slow and then gradually move into more intense exercise. And of course, if you take someone with you, you're probably going to exercise a little bit more. So cardiac exercise does increase your metabolic rate, but it only does it when you're exercising. So we also have strength training. Now, strength training is weightlifting or resistance training. If you have resistance bands, that can also help too. But strength training helps in so many ways. Number one, it's an important addition to your cardio. On some of those days that you're doing cardio, you'll probably have to add some strength training, because you need to do at least minimum 2 days, and it's only 20 minutes of strength training to start out. And if you really enjoy it, you can do it a little bit longer than that. It's important because it builds muscle. And in order to lose weight, you need to build as much muscle as possible. But women have another issue, because as soon as you turn 30, you start to lose muscle, about 3 to 5%. And each year it goes up. So you're going to be losing muscle. So you're working to maintain or build even more muscle, because the more muscle you build, the more calories you burn up. So weightlifting, or strength training as it's called, helps in a lot of ways, because while you're exercising, you are burning up calories. And for a few hours afterwards, you're still burning calories. So you're getting a double benefit if you do strength training and resistance training. And there's some newer exercises out that are as intense as, well, they're very intense, but they do the same thing too, because they help build your muscle. So I hope this has been helpful to you, because some of these things, some of these habits that we have may be hindering our weight loss and hindering how we're going to look in the next few weeks or so, or next few months. So I would suggest that you try some of these things on a regular basis. And all these are healthy things anyway. Drinking water, you should do that, because especially now, it is so hot in most parts of the country. It's been consistently 90 degrees here, at least. It does go down, and I think it's been raining recently, so we're down to 70s now, but usually it just drops to 85. So that's not even really a decrease in temperature. And as we get older, our sense of thirst is gone. So it's very easy to become dehydrated. And so we don't want that to happen. So drinking water is something that's going to help your body. And the other thing about water is, some people have successfully used it as a way to lose weight. They'll drink 2 glasses of water or a glass of water before they eat, and it fills them up so they don't eat as much. That may not work for everyone, but you need to replenish everything you've used. And if you are exercising, you definitely will need to replenish it. So I hope those little facts have been helpful. And I want to let you know that my book is out there, and you can get it pre-sale now. It's on pre-sale now. My book launch is in the next week on a Wednesday, and stay tuned, because you'll be getting more information about that. So enjoy your night, like this program on Facebook, and stay tuned, because you'll be getting more information about my book launch. I am so excited. Have a wonderful night. And please remember, there are lots of things you can do to boost your metabolism when you want to lose weight.